Bills. You're here for Thursday Night Live, which is broadcast on local television, PATV, channel 18 in Iowa City. It's also streaming on the web from the PATV website, patv.tv. Uptown Bills is named for Bill Sachter, who's the man with the beard in the picture behind me. Bill came to Iowa City in the 1970s. He was had spent about half a century in a big old state hospital in Minnesota. And when he was released, he met Barry Morrow, who's the guy with the tie. I think you on television can see this. He's on the right. And ultimately came to Iowa City, both of them. It was hard to find a job for Bill in Iowa City. It's a lot smaller town, and there were a lot fewer opportunities for individuals with disabilities. So what emerged was a little coffee shop. And that's where Bill held forth. His friend Barry thought that maybe he'd like to write a story about Bill's life. The story appeared in the Des Moines Register. One thing led to another, and the story became a movie. And the picture that you see behind me is a promotional picture for that first film, which was simply called Bill. Mickey Rooney played Bill, and Dennis Quaid played Barry. Bill became quite famous. People came to visit him. And there was a second film then called Bill on His Own. It came out in 1983. Bill died shortly after the second film was finished, but the coffee shop stayed, and it's still there. And we grew out of that coffee shop. We're like the bigger, badder Bills. Across town from the original one. And besides the coffee shop, we also are involved with a used bookstore, performance venue, and a number of other projects, including coming soon, a radio station. So we hope to be on the air by the fall. More about that maybe later tonight or next week. We'll see how things go. Let's see, a couple other things to tell you. We have music every Saturday night. This coming Saturday, you'll want to cancel your plans and tell the pets you're going to be out and come down and see Dave Moore, one of our favorites, kind of an icon among Iowa folk musicians. And it's always exciting for me because I first heard him in my kitchen on Saturday nights on Prairie Home Companion. And to have him right here at Uptown Bill's is really something. There's nothing like seeing Dave at Uptown Bill's. It's really like having him over to your living room. It's really incredible. So if you are free, and if you're not free, make yourself free. Come over at 7 o'clock on Saturday night. You can get a look at other events coming up by picking up a copy of the calendar by the door if you're here, or if you're watching us, you can check out our calendar on our webpage, uptownbills.org. I think that's probably enough for me from now. Let's see if we can bring up someone to do a little performing. And I'll say to any of you who've come in and are planning to perform, please sign up on the sheet on the side of the pop cooler so we know that you're serious. And we've got Rick Vornbrock on first tonight. A word about Rick. He's one of the founders of this, what is now called Uptown Bills Live. Back in the day, practically in the last century, he started a little event with J.P. Clausen, and it's evolved continuously over the years, and now it's Uptown Bills Live, and Rick is back with us tonight. This is a couple of weeks in a row. Hooray! Come on up.
I need a mic for two mics.
Got it? Got the second mic? And the chair.
Yeah.
All right, we're set for you.
Okay.
Ha! He thought he could fool us by asking for all these things, but they're all here. Oh, if you were here in the coffee shop before the show started, we were listening to a local group called Deep Dish Divas. That's who was on the CD we were listening to. All right. Let's get you set up here. Preference about which is which?
what?
Which?
Oh yeah, this would be good for the vocal. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes people base it on, you know, whether they're right-handed or left-handed. Or
Yeah.
which way they. Okay, let's see if we can get this through.
Okay.
We're on our feet there. Hang on, we'll give a little something to the guitar. Okay.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Paul Simon has. Us guitarists should be very thankful to him because he sort of gave us permission to use the capo, because it's also known as a cheat, one way to cheat or something. But I think he's one of the best guitarists, and he created a lot of beautiful licks and everything. And anyway, this is a song about a guy who gets dumped by his girlfriend, or he dumps his girlfriend or something, and then later on he's trying to get her back by making her perform a bunch of a list of things for her to do for him. Anyway, it's an old, I think, English song that's handed down. It's one of these things that are really not copyrighted, and they collect a different. Dylan did something like that too, of the same song. That is, you can change the verses if you want or something. So, Scarborough Fair. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Tell her to make me a cambric shirt. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Without no seams or no needlework, then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to find me an acre of land. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Between the salt water and the sea strand, then she'll be a true love of mine. Tell her to reap it in a sickle of leather. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. And gather it all in a bunch of heather. Then down to Scarborough Fair. Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Remember me to one who lives there. She once was a true love of mine. Thank you. Yeah, this song I wrote called Nothing But My Love. Okay. It goes so fast, kind you only dream of. But all things pass, can't pay for gas. I got nothing but my love. Hey, I got nothing but my love. I was a geek, I was a freak. The kids made fun of. They put me down, but I rebound, 'cause I got nothing but my love. I got nothing but my love. I got nothing but my love. If you want more, you gotta give it away. Take what you can, but plan for nothing to say. She was so cute, there's no dispute. She's the stuff, she sure was. She got away for a rainy day. Now I got nothing but my love. Hey! If you want more, you gotta give it away. Take what you can, but plan for nothing to stay. You gotta give it away. Take what you can, but plan for nothing to stay. I got a lot, I got a yacht. Let me show you what I'm made of. But when it ends, when I check in, I got nothing but my love. I got nothing but my love. I got nothing but my love. Thank you. I wrote this song as kind of a spoof on country songs, but I guess it seems to maybe a little bit better than that. I don't know. But anyway. There's a hole in my soul shaped like you, once full of love, once I knew. There's a void in my heart, growing wide, a trickle of pain swells inside. I'm up on the phone the whole night through. I ask all my friends what it was I did wrong, as if they knew. Guess I'll go down the stairs and watch the news. This is a hole in my soul, shaped like you. Sleep is my friend, when only then the aching subside. If only I could wake by your side. I walk the hall of memories, replay the scenes of you and me in autumn breeze. We laugh as we dance in slow-mo. What was meant to be, meant to go. Sleep is my friend, when only then the aching subsides. If only I could wake by your side. Now I'm driving this time to ease my mind. Through summer trees, sunny and free, I feel fine. I look up above, I begin to cry. A dove flies alone in the sky. So hole in my soul, shaped like you. Feel that cold wind blowing through. There's a void in my heart, growing wide. A trickle of pain swells inside. A trickle of pain swells inside.
Don't go away. I'm going to press you with difficult questions.
Okay.
You can stay seated if you'd like, because you want to use the microphone so the folks at home can hear you.
All right.
Listen, you've gone back to a very stripped down sound. For a while, you had all kinds of gadgets you would bring.
Yeah.
What was this intentional, or
I just haven't got around to the gadgets for a while, but
Oh, okay.
they do take, you know, like I bring them into the mill, and it's kind of a hassle too to get them all hooked up right. But I'll bring them in someday. Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wondered if you sort of changed your...
No, I just need to you know, get back into it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we'll have to put you at the beginning or the end then, or something, or after
Yeah.
a break, so that you have
Yeah.
time to get all set up. The one I remember was the voice one, where it
Yeah.
changes your...
Yeah, harmonizes your voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thank you.
Okay.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Thank you.
We've got a new art show opening this evening in the other room. Whoa, yeah, there's another room. And the artist is here. So we thought maybe we'd ask her a question or two about the show and about herself. Maureen Donnelly, it's right over here. Come on up. And you may sit in that chair if you'd like. Not particularly. This is the chair that Dave Moore always chooses. So we call it the Dave Moore chair, the one he likes to sit in. So it should be a calming chair.
It's the Irish chair,
Hmm?
Irish chair.
That's it. So this is Maureen Donnelly. And can you tell us a little bit about your show?
Well, first I want to thank Uptown Bills for letting me have my first ever display of my photography. I I got into the habit of viewing the world through a lens because it forces me to look at the composition around me, so that even when I don't have a camera in my hand, I'm always looking at things more closely, and it's given me a lot more enjoyment. So as I said, it was very nice of Uptown Bills to let me have a chance to hang my pictures so that other people can see them. Most of them are from Iowa. I moved here from the East Coast and said, what will I ever take a picture of in Iowa? And then I looked out the window and said, oh, I could take pictures of that and that and that. So I have a lot of fall pictures and Mississippi River pictures and the reservoir pictures and the beautiful sky pictures. And it's been quite a pleasure for 40 years to have been taking pictures. And then I also have pictures of Greece and Venice and other places where I've had the pleasure to be able to go on some cruises with a friend. And I hope that maybe somebody will want to buy some of them, because then I can give 10% of whatever I earned to Uptown Bills, which Tom can tell you more than I can, of the great work it does for people with disabilities. And that would be a very small price to pay for the honor of letting me hang my pictures.
Oh, thank you. Huh. Did you get that? It was like a little ad for Uptown Bills right there.
Yes.
And I didn't realize this was your first show. You had in fact just told me a moment ago that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. There was something else. We have a new show every month, and if you are interested in having your art displayed, give us a call or come by and see us, or send us an email to uptownbills@gmail.com. So you're here tonight.
I'm here.
For a little bit.
You said I could keep them till June. I'm holding you to that.
Oh, keeping them up, yes, for the rest of the month. But if anyone is close by and wants to run down and meet Maureen, you could do it right now, between the tracks on South Dubuque Street.
I'm on the right side of the tracks for tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, I'm just it's a pleasure to be here, and I hope that, I think Uptown Bills is one of the hidden jewels that Iowa City has, that people don't realize it's a nice, quiet place to come and have a coffee and good company and good music like tonight. And I hope somebody watches this and says, I'm going to go to Uptown Bills.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was not pre-rehearsed, by the way. Very nice. All right. Let's go to, I think Mike is next. Mike was so anxious to come and read that he came last night. And he came back.
Oh, yeah.
So come on, would you like to stand or sit?
Sit.
You're going to sit? Okay. All right. Let's pull
That
this.
way you don't have to adjust it.
Let's pull this microphone away. And then do you
Can I
want...
stand? You
Sure.
should stand. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
stand. I'll
Sta-
stand then.
You'll stand?
Yeah.
You can
This-
sit with the stand if you wish, but
Oh, I'll do it
Whatever
this
you like.
way, I guess. It's already set.
we can change it. We're flexible.
Um,
Gumby is our hero. You know how
Gumby's
flexible
our
he
hero.
is.
When he gets run over and goes, ooh.
No.
That's someone else, I think.
That's a different.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I always like it here. Always a friendly place, even if I just stop by, say hello, or come by the wrong night for a reading. I'm Mike Bales from the Quad City area. I've written some books of poetry. Give you a little sampling here. See what I'm in for the mood for tonight. I'm going to take you to Des Moines back in the 70s. This poem's called Des Moines Night in the Town, 1977. Women wear cowboy boots and skin-tight jeans while dancing to country and disco, and they entice until returning to their circles of friends. 1 week in March, girls basketball rocks Vets Auditorium for 3-on-3, 2 offenses and 2 defenses, and only the basketball crosses the center line. And action pauses for commercials about corn seeds and agriculture. Somewhere else, a woman once free as a prairie breeze and who bears a poet's soul sits alone in a darkened basement, suffering from an anxiety attack. She apologizes that she can't talk, while her mother says that they're waiting for the hospital to call them back. The gilded dome in the state capitol shines at night, but not the same for all. The city stirs, and I discover not all streets are paved in gold. Do a few things different. I'll jump around for other poems. When the cane comes in, I'll know it's time to get off stage. I stayed in Geneseo for a year. I was going through some changes. Took in small town life. My second book, The Rabbit House, is about small town life. There might not be a lot of rock bands, but a lot of weeks a band plays in the band shell. I'd usually be assigned to take the owner's dog, go to the concert, and have the dog in my lap. I'd go to the band, catch some ice creams, and kind of walk home alone. This poem's called The Band Plays. People stay in town to hear the high school band play on a Tuesday evening. Bold brass notes, crescendos mark early evening gold. High school beauty queens as if divas pose on stage. And the one with the biggest family gets the most applause. Volunteers serve ice cream, cake, and pie when musicians break. Smiles and kind words offered for donations for the band. Sun to west, cast final light, and music fades. This is my small town dream, echoes of my reality, softness of solitude while I walk home alone. Now this next poem, it actually did happen. I think I posted it on a website called poetrysoup.com. I've got about 30 poems there where anyone could get a free sampling of my work online. This actually happened. The poem's called The Burning House. The abandoned house burns at the edge of a small town. A fireman holding his hose laughs and talks with other firemen, a 12-pack near them, while townspeople watch late in the day. They know it won't be saved. A man with his dog, with his son, and a dog on a leash watches. Flames curl out an open window like devil's tongues. The townspeople talk about the young girl with a child who has come home, and now she works at a diner in the next small town. A tractor pulls a trailer down Main Street just behind them, his barn in shadows on a country road. The firemen squirt water into the open window for practice, and the watchful eyes of the town. When the smoke clears, a pale ghost of a moon hangs to the west, while the sun fades. At night, shadows of walls linger, the structure of an empty shell, a family gone. A sign nailed to the door says, "No one may enter." Even at my age, I still have to go back for thoughts of like high school dating. The innocence is always nice. There's a really nice park in Davenport where I'd go, sometimes when I was down, sometimes when I'd go to think about things. It's really well done through the years of renovation. And I wrote this set in the park. It's called At the Statue of Young Love. It's in a magazine called the Rockford Review. People gather at this statue, made of dreams and gold. Sitting in the corner of the park, they behold. His outstretched arm welcomes robins that perch. Young lovers who walk around the pond stop to observe. They dream their lives lying ahead and eagerly take reflections of the sun. Yet to know the depths of losses and death, air smells sweet. In its sweetness, trees hold sway. A fledgling emerges from shadows in their midst and learns to fly while people gather to see the statue. One more, or a couple more? Or? Good. This I always consider my kind of crazy book, The Rabbit House. Actually, I do this fairly often for a tribute of this younger cousin who used to follow me around a lot when I was back from college breaks. It's called Things My Younger Cousin Asked Me. She asked me why I was away so much. She asked me where my college was and what I studied. She asked me what a sociology was and what I could do with it. She asked me if I played her a song, would I play it again? She asked me if I would visit her mom and would I wear my old t-shirt. She asked me why the stars hid behind the sun. She asked me why we were made of stardust. She asked me what was above the sky. I don't think I've ever read this, but I think it says a few things. It's a poem called Swallows Fly. Bodies of angels, hollow bones, feathers on frail wings, swallows fly while I watch. Stranger to this town, to this park, where children swing and mothers watch while I walk alone. Black squirrels climb trunks, scold me while I pass. I look at the highway passing through town, thoughts of long-distance calls and friends. In the city fill my mind, while leaves rustle in the wind as it sings a lonely song. Initials carved in bark speak teenage romance, stir thoughts of younger days. But now I remember, eggs turn to fledglings. Fledglings must learn to fly, to leave the nest, and swallows fly. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to have you back. We also have a poetry and readings night on the first Wednesday of each month. And the next one of those is Wednesday, July the 6th. So if you're looking for an audience of poets and other writers, that's the place to come to for that. But poets are welcome here. Many poets are kind of shy, and the idea of going after, say, Rick, or after a comedian is just too much. So, all right.
Tom, excuse me, what is the scope of presentations tonight?
Music, comedy, whatever anybody would like to do.
Okay.
Are you thinking about...
Yeah, I've got 4 possibilities here. 3.
All right. We have the usual 10-minute time for each presenter or performer. Let's see. Oh, let's have our drawing. We're giving away songs of the 1950s, and it's got not only the lyrics but the music in it for piano, vocal, and guitar. If you were alive at that time, you're probably jumping up and down on the inside. If you were not alive at that time, you could consider it sort of like an archaeological find. All right.
What time is that, Tom?
Songs of the 1950s. Mike.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
I know some of his last songs.
All right. Here you go. Thank you. Okay. It sure was hot today. still is. Go outside. We sent, one of our shoppers is Bob Brett, and I sent him to the store to get a loaf of bread. It was toast by the time he got back. And we'll see how that matches up with Matt, who's going to come up, right?
Yeah.
You looked uncertain there.
Yeah, I was going right now.
Sure. Why not now?
All right.
Okay. You were next on the list, so that's why I thought it would be a good time to call you up.
Awesome.
And you probably want to stand?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know many comedians who sit,
Right.
except those ones on some of the late night talk shows when they're. Where are you? There you are. Okay, I'm trying to match it up somewhat to your height. And then, of course, you'll probably just take it right out of the
Yeah.
thing and
I usually
carry it around with you. Okay.
I get rid of this too.
Okay, he's going to roam too, folks. Watch out.
I eat a pretty primal diet, so I like to tell people that I eat like a caveman. But I'm also vegan, so I'm more like a caveman who is too dumb to find something decent to eat. Being vegan also means that I have to buy shirts from the kids section if I want to look like I can do more than 10 push-ups, because I can't. As a vegan for the last year, I'd also like to mention that I hate vegans too. Always getting hamburger ads taken down because you can't take a joke. Crying about cow farts. If everybody would just eat tempeh. And if you use a prefix to describe how vegan you are, you're not a vegan, you're a hipster. I've only been vegan as long as I have because my friends said I wouldn't stay with it. So I'm not an angry vegan, I'm just a stubborn vegan. Angry people confuse me. I heard a guy on a podcast ranting about outrage culture. How'd you get so torqued up about all these pissy college kids? I wish social justice warriors wouldn't have taken such a cool name for such rude behavior. Because there's definitely social injustice in the world. It just doesn't happen to anyone with time to tell Facebook about it. I have a serious problem with cultural appropriation. You don't own everything spicy with cheese just because you're brown. It's all about equality until the white man buys the taco truck. If Organic Girl turns out to be owned by, or like the CEO is a man, is that sexual appropriation? I heard some evidence for plant intelligence the last couple months, and I really hope that's not true because it makes the baby greens I eat just as rude as veal. And marijuana users have kind of been made a holocaust on that plant. They've killed all the males and every female who didn't fit High Times propaganda. And then once they had a perfect generation of females, they hacked them up, cloned them, just so they could burn their children. It's hard to keep a straight face when they ask you about the drug bust at the neighboring town at work when it was at your sister's house. They didn't find what they were looking for, so but it was part of a town-wide sweep. They got about 4 houses at once. So if it wasn't a meth bust at her house, it was at least a meth scavenger hunt. Like I said, they didn't find anything, so they let her keep the kid. So at least there's something good out of it. Now she knows what a battering ram sounds like, so she's got time to flush her own stash someday. I think that's about as far as I can get without cussing. This is my first clean show. Thank you for letting me come up here.
Well, thank you. Tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from?
Clarence. It's in Cedar County.
Okay. And are you going to school here or what?
Nope, just Joe that you were talking about told me that there's a mic here on Thursday.
Ah,
so
well, good.
I decided to give it a shot.
Great, great. And they seem friendly, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
sure.
the ones you can't see, of course, on television, they might be.
Yeah,
who
they might be
knows?
upset.
Yeah.
They might be heckling.
Could be.
Could be.
The angry vegans.
Yeah,
They could
the
be.
angry ones.
So, yeah. Anything else about yourself we should know?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We're good.
Thank you so much for coming. Hope you'll consider coming back again.
Oh, yeah. How often do you do this one?
We have this every Thursday night. Starts at 7.
Okay.
And it's a little bit of a drive for you.
Yeah.
If you're coming. But you are, the challenge is the guy who comes from Marshalltown.
Yeah.
The comedian who comes from Marshalltown. So I guess that's a little further.
Uh-huh.
So he comes about once a month.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Thanks again.
Yep.
If you'd like to come up, now is your moment. Moments. All right. Another participant who came last night, eager. And I said, well, we've got nice couches if you'd like to wait, but we haven't put them together yet. We have received some new couches as a gift, and that's what those big boxes are in the other room. So.
I think this is about the second or third time I've sneezed today. Yesterday I had a really bad bout of allergy. When I first moved to Iowa City about 30 years ago, I had a bad sneeze spell and then nothing. So I don't know whether it's me or it's something new in the air, but I know
Probably
I'm not
something
the
new.
only one who's been sneezing this spring.
Okay, you're going to sit?
Yes.
All right,
I'll
sounds
sit.
good. Do you need this stand, or you want that out of the way?
I didn't think I was going to need a stand, but now that one's here in front, I think maybe I'll have to
That's
bring
fine.
it close. Yeah.
Okay,
So I
let's
don't
get
really
this
need the
microphone
stand.
closer to you.
Okay. There we go. Can everybody hear me? Is this loud enough? Yeah. You got it stabilized there? Okay. Let's see, a little bit. Can you keep it from flopping like that?
Sure. We can try.
Okay.
Move a little closer to you.
Tighten it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Is it good? Loud enough? Okay. I'm very concerned about this loudness business because in recent times my hearing has gotten worse and worse, and so I have problems hearing other speakers who don't talk loud enough. Okay. So I always want to check and make sure I'm talking loud enough. Well, it's still flopping, this thing. So let me see if I can understand the mechanics of this thing well enough to be able to get it stable. I think, no, see, it flops. Well, you got to tighten it. You got a pair of pliers or something. It's got to be really tight to keep it from flopping. See, there's something wrong with the design of this thing, I think. Yeah, let's try this. Here we go. Oh, yeah. This isn't turned on though. I tell you what, I'll just tell my story without a microphone. Is this loud enough? Can everybody hear me?
You need the microphone because we're on television?
We're on. This is on television?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God, I had no idea. I thought this was just a private thing. In that case. Here we go. Okay, this is, I'll read you excerpts from a story of a recent event in my life. It was Sunday a week ago, the day before Memorial Day. My friend Roseanne and her son, 20-year-old son, and I visited a cemetery in Burlington. Sunday, May 29th, 2016, on this day before Memorial Day, Roseanne and her son James and I head south on Highway 218 toward a large cemetery in Burlington, Iowa. Within the past several years, Rose has gotten very much into her family's genealogy to the extent that she considers herself addicted. Many of her relatives are buried in the cemetery, and we shall locate many of their graves. James has brought a camera and will photograph the headstones, and then Rose will put the photos on a website for sharing, for archiving and sharing with other researchers. Okay, so we get to the cemetery, and I remark to Rose how the granite markers show little weathering over several decades, and in some cases, a century has, in some cases, a century of polished surface of the stone with a death date of around 1900 looks almost as smooth as that of one showing a death date around 1940 or later. We get in the car again and move to another group of Rose and James's relatives. We stop the car in a narrow shaded lane. To our left, we see graves on a steep but squat slope. Around the main headstone of a group of my friend's relatives lie some other satellite marker stones. Upon stepping up a little slope, I see what at first looks like a mistake. The letters and the dates are upside down. But no, on closer inspection, I see what the little stone about 14 inches long and in cross-section a little bit larger than a cement parking block for cars that you see in a parking lot, has toppled from its granite level rectangular stone foundation. James returns the marker to its base. Well, it leaves a space in the ground, and you see grass roots and these little crawling creatures around there. But I think, well, I don't know how long it's been there. We should note that many of the other gravestones of this and other cemeteries, especially those of material other than granite, do show considerable weathering, many dating before 1850, are very hard, if not impossible, to read. They're more effective reminders of time's onslaughts, in light of their being far more durable than we of flesh and blood. In October of 1994, my mother was entombed in the newest mausoleum of Cincinnati's Spring Grove Cemetery. I spoke with Mr. Schulman, who had sold us the vaults inside the structure, which also features vaults facing the building's exterior. He explained that the marker slabs of the interior vaults are marble. But, he said, the slabs fronting the exterior vaults must be granite. Marble exposed to the elements of Cincinnati's climate quickly weathers and crumbles. I said, so you're saying, Mr. Schulman, that around here you can't take marble for granted? He made a face of extreme, the mic is going dead here. Is something wrong? Sorry. Where were we? Oh, yes. I said, so what you're saying, Mr. Schulman, is around here you can't take marble for granted. He made a face of extreme disgust and said, the lowest form of humor. I had thought that the solemn occasion needed some comic relief, some lightening up. Apparently he didn't think so. But hey, it's not as if I was hosting an Irish wake at the mausoleum. Now that I think about it, some wakes may be just what is needed to liven up Cincinnati's beautiful, populous, spacious, and serene cemetery. My first encounter with Mr. Schulman happened several years before, when he showed my mother and me the site of the future mausoleum. Then he already looked quite old, with a heavily wrinkled face and white hair. He said he had flown Corsair fighter planes as a young man in World War II. The Corsair, painted its dark navy blue, is remembered for its inverted gull wing and huge four-bladed propeller. I've been researching them. It might be three-bladed. Um, the distinctive wing was needed to keep the propeller blades a respectable distance above the carrier decks from which the Corsairs were launched. The single pilot sat far behind the propeller. Occupying the space between propeller and pilot was a very long and very powerful engine, 2,000 horsepower. This was the first time I was to see a look of disgust on Mr. Schulman's face. "Did you continue flying airplanes after you left the service?" I asked. That look of disgust spread over his face as he said, "For a little while. We went up in a Piper Cub. We looked down and the cars were going faster than we were." Flying slowpoke single-engine civilian planes couldn't hold a candle to the excitement of flying fast behind a truly powerful engine, shooting at enemy planes and being shot at. The mausoleum construction would begin soon, he said, but of course many future visits. Vaults had already been sold. Buying in advance would allow buyers to get in on the ground floor. And crypts, he said, could be sold at a profit. "You mean we could sell them if we decide we didn't want them?" I asked. "Yes, but Spring Grove would have the right of first refusal," he said. "You mean," I said, that Spring Grove had refused to let us sell them?" "No," he said, "but if someone else wanted to buy them, we would have right of first refusal." "Why would you refuse?" I said. "The right of first refusal," he said, "is a contractual right of an entity in the given the opportunity to enter into a business transaction with a person or company before anyone else can. If the entity with the right of first refusal declines to enter into a transaction, the owner of the asset is free to open the bidding up to other interested parties." "Why," I said, "don't you get out of our way and let us sell it if we want to?" "You can if you want to," he said. "Can't I get it through your thick skull what I'm talking about?" "There's no need to take that attitude, Mr. Schulman. We just don't understand this lawyer-sounding mumbo-jumbo about rights and refusals and stuff. You'll never be a success in sales if you get rude and insulting with your prospects. You seem like a principled, honest person who would not try to pull the wool over the eyes of ignorant people like my mother and me. Still, business is business, and sales is sales, or are sales. So we have to let you know we're not complete rubes in the woods." I think the expression is babes in the woods. My mother here is a babe, or at least used to be. In fact, as you can see, she's still pretty hot. But that designation hasn't applied to me beyond the age of 6 months. I agree. Now let's get back to business. Do you want to buy the crypt vaults or don't you? I say to my mother, "What do you think, Mums? Do you like this mausoleum?" "The mausoleum is nice," she says, "but that big tree over there gives me the creeps. I'd rather be in the new mausoleum away from this tree." She's talking about a majestic oak that lowers behind the existing mausoleum. "If you'd rather wait for the new one to be built," I say, "fine, but it's not as if you're going to be able to see that tree. You'll be in a casket, a modern casket with a gasket no less, exposed and closed by marble walls. And most important of all, you'll be dead, deader than the proverbial doornail. You're not going to give it you're not going to give a damn whether there's a tree out there or not. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but that's the way it is. Still, if that's the way you feel about it, let's reserve a place or two in the new one." And that's what we did. Back to the Burlington Cemetery. Rose, James, and I leave the shaded lane, our last stop. Our visit had got me to thinking about life's evanescence and spatial constriction vis-a-vis the incomprehensible vastness of creation. How long will it be before these grave sites all crumble into dust? This cemetery will likely be here in some form in 1,000 or 2,000 years. What will lie outside its bounds is much harder to imagine. The pyramids of Egypt and Central America and the Rosetta Stone are what, 4,000 or more years old? Seems like an awfully long time ago. If you live to a ripe age of, say, 80 or 90 years, you have a good sense of how long a century is, and with some additional strain of the brain can get some intuitive sense of the span of a millennium. Yet 4 millennia, at least from our own relativistic point of view, in 4 millennia, a photon has only traversed a mere 4% of the distance across our own Milky Way galaxy. Now we're looking for a way out of the cemetery. I say, I wonder what will happen to this place when the sun becomes a red giant and swells just about enough to engulf the Earth. Will this be a disaster or a great business opportunity? There should be a great market for SPF sunscreen and for air conditioners. I'm hoping my friends are getting picking up the tongue-in-cheek absurdity of this question. How long will that be from now, they ask. I say, oh, about 5 billion years, give or take a billion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's it for this evening. A couple of things to tell you. Again, Dave Moore is here Saturday night, and we'll do this again next Thursday, starting at 7 o'clock. And please sign up beforehand. You can either sign up on the sheet that's up by the pop cooler already, drop by, or sign up by email, uptownbills@gmail.com. And for information on other events, check our website, which is uptownbills.org. And at our website, you'll find a calendar of music for the entire summer. We have lots of fun things going on. We're also hosting a celebration of the 26th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act on Saturday, July 23rd. Music, speeches, the usual stuff. And that's from 10 a.m. to noon on Saturday, July 23rd. Plus that day, we're having a fundraiser also on the Ped Mall for our new radio station. And there's more stuff going on that day, too. So, again, take a look at our website for that, or pick up a copy of the calendar over by the door if you're here. So hot today that one of the farmers who stopped by said the cows were giving evaporated milk. Had somebody raising chickens came by and said it was so hot, the chickens were giving hard-boiled eggs. All right, that's enough for me. Thank you all very much. Have a nice evening. See you soon.